Rabbi, thank you so much for coming out. Looking forward to be able to giving a shiur again. Good crowd. Grab a source sheet if you don't have one already, and we're going to get started. We're not going to do 30 minutes, probably not even 20 minutes. We're going to try to do this one source sheet will be 2 shiurim because it's late already. We're going to do tonight the first 2 mishnahs, and then next week we'll do the big Gemara about falling out of the hay. So it's very crucial to know that the shiur is called Preparing for Elul, Seeing the Extent of Our Actions. You might ask, why are you doing a shiur on Elul now? Well, because every time we are in Elul, it's already too late to prepare for Elul. You're preparing for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So it's very crucial. It's very crucial to see that there's something to Elul itself. Elul is not a mere step to Rosh Hashanah. Elul is not a mere step to Yom Kippur. It's an avoda in itself. And so preparing for Elul is not only appreciating the Zman of Tshuva, but a lot of it goes into understanding and appreciating the Zman of what we have never ever done Tshuva on before. And we've never seen or appreciated things. A lot of times when we do Tshuva, we can think, it was that thing that I did wrong over here, over there, over there. Elul gives you a unique, beautiful opportunity to do a cheshbon and nefesh on the things that you might be blind to. You might have blind spots about things that you've missed. And so you have a real deal opportunity to approach the extent of your actions. You have an opportunity to really grow and steig in the world of tshuva for seeing not just the obvious things. I said that thing I shouldn't have said. Or, I ate that I shouldn't have eaten. I looked at it, but the stuff that you might not even think is an aveira that is. And I don't mean because you have a lack of knowledge. Obviously, we all think, we're learned people. We hopefully know a few things here or there. But I mean the things that you might not have thought about. This expression is also akev. Akev is literally all of the aveiras that are gathering around you on the bottom that you didn't even think about and you're stumbling in without even contemplating it. So this is literally the week, I think, to start talking about the tekufa, the zman of preparing for Elul and seeing the extent of our actions. So we're going to open it up by looking at a mishnah in Bava Kama 31a. And then we're also going to look at the end of a mishnah in Mako 21b. And for those who just came in the room, we're going to be doing the Gemara on the back next week. I don't think we'll have enough time to go through it, but I want to approach it. And again, a lot of us here have learned halacha really well. A lot of us here have learned Gemara really well. But when we look at these mishnahs, we might not see hishkafic, emanations. We might just think halachic emanations. So we're going to dive into it, and we're going to see how there's a lot of ramifications, not just to the halacha of what happens when 2 people are in a Rishus Rabbim, when one falls on the other. But we're actually going to see deeply and approach the world of Hishkafa and how it impacts your life. Okay, so let's dive in. This is the Mishnah Bava Kama 31a. And again, it's one of the easy. If you did Mishnah Yom, you did this in 10 seconds. You learn this Mishnah very quickly. But if you learn it real, it should take you 30 minutes on its own. And then you do a cheshbon and nefesh on where did you fall into other people. You'll see. There's an amek to learning. And that's what I want to give over to me. There are 2 potters that were walking one after the other in Rishus Rabbim. V'nidkal harishon v'nafal. And the first one, he tripped and he stumbled and he fell down. V'nidkal hasheni barishon. And the second one, he tripped over the first one and he stumbled and fell on him. And then what's the din? Harishon chayev benizkei sheni. Harishon chayev benizkei sheni. Understand? The first person who fell is chayev for the damages to the second one. The first person is chayev.
First guy fell.
So let's understand the case. So again, the basic is we're going to outline what's going on in the case, and we hope to go a lot deeper than the case. But we'll grab the case. You have 2 people, 2 potters. They're holding things. One's walking like straight line. One's right behind him. Okay. Now, first guy, it's actually a machlokes the Gemara. One's going to say that the person one holds that tripping and stumbling, negligence on its own. Boom, that's automatically a level. Your stumbling is negligence. Another person's going to hold. The other man is going to say he tripped and he fell, and then he was there for a little while. He didn't get up quick. He didn't get fast up. Either way, we're in the sugya of damages by bor b'rishus harabim. It's important to know. I made a note here. That's putter on Caleb. We're not worried about the guy's pots breaking. Okay. We're worried about his damage. We're worried about damage to him. Okay. So that's the halakha piece. We're going to go deeper. But so if one person walking, the other person right behind, and the guy in the front did something wrong. Guy behind did nothing wrong. He's just walking. Yeah. Guy trips and falls. and then he's just there. Either he didn't get up fast enough, or we hold that just stumbling on your own is enough to be a bor b'shus Rabbi. Hashkafically, it's way deeper than that. How often are we walking around in the world, stumbling on our own, causing others to stumble also? Think about that. Think about that. How often are we this potter, but hashkafically? How often are we walking around in the world, and I gotta get to work. I'll take my tefillin off in Shacharis. I'll be the first guy to take my talis and tefillin off, but that's okay, right? I gotta get to work on time. It's gonna be, And then you're that guy, Aleinu l'shabeach, and you bolt. You're at the door. And you didn't realize that there were 3 other people, probably younger than you, or maybe not as knowledgeable as you, or maybe older, being like, listen, if he's doing it, I'm gonna do it too. If he's gonna do it, maybe I'll come and do it too. And then you stumbled, causing everybody else around you to miss how many Amen Yehesh Me Rabbis that could have been very big? Yeah, Rav Moshe Feinstein, there's a story in his biography about how a person came and he was talking about, should he have a very big procedure, a medical procedure, or should he, not have the procedure? It could only extend his life by a little bit of time, very little bit of time. But ultimately, it could kill him and it'd be horrible. And Rav Moshe literally was crying and crying and crying and crying. And they came out with the psak saying, this person should have the procedure because if it can lengthen his life even a little bit longer, he can be alive longer to say Amen Yehesh Me Rabbah. No lies. Amen Yehesh Me Rabbah is a big deal. Amen is big. And you could be the guy that made some guy lose 3 Amen Yehesh Me Rabbahs. 1, 2, whatever it is. Just because you happen to leave, I gotta go. These are the things that may or may not be usur. And we definitely didn't think about them coming into Elul for tshuva. But they matter. How many times? What about a different case? This one's a much more obvious case. We're talking with somebody. We got that juicy piece of Lashon Hara to share. Yeah? Oh, that guy. You want to share it, and you want to do it, and you have it out there, and you're ready to say it. And you say it. You fell. You stumbled. And then what did you do in the process of that conversation? You then literally put, the thing is called lifnei iver, Rabosai. You were the stumbling block. Yeah, we like to detach it by calling it lifnei iver. Like, I put the stone over there, and then he fell, and I ran out. You were the stone. Yeah, he fell over you. You said that juicy piece of Lashon Hara, and you caused him to go and say it too. And how often in our tshuva process, in our cheshbon and nefesh during Elul, are we thinking on those things? Or are we thinking on that treif that we might have had, or whatever it was, or that horrible thing? How about the extent of our actions? And you might think, Rabbi, that's pretty hard. Like, I can't think of all those. At least tell Hashem, at some point, either now or during Elul, Hashem, I apologize. I'm so sorry and so regretful for all of the sins, for all the things that I caused other people to sin in, that I don't even know what I did. At least do that one, and hopefully we'll be yotzi a smidgen on where we're holding in life. Because we have to appreciate the amek, the depth of what this mission is. And you can get into the this and the back and the forth and this one holds up. Just look at it. If you cause somebody to stumble, you're chayiv. You did that. And we're not talking about their wares. We're talking about them. You caused them to stumble and hurt themselves. And you are causing yourselves to stumble and hurt themselves. Yeah.
So is this the same thing as like placing a stumbling block for the blind, essentially?
Yeah, I would argue that this is lifnei iver, stumbling block, put on steroids. Okay. Because it's easy to sometimes see the first stumbling block. Next mission, we're going to see that there could be a lot more than just one. Ripple effects. We're going to see that it's not just one, but it could be more. And the other thing is, lifnei iver almost sounds like, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, I see.
Here. Like the guy who left because he had to get to work, which was probably right.
Yeah?
Okay. And he doesn't even have the chap that, you know what, I caused these people to have to leave and miss Amen Yesh Me Rabbah, Rav Moshe Feinstein told the right. He doesn't know. So I would conjecture that sure, even it might not be intentional, but this is for sure. I'm trying to discuss things that we aren't even aware of. So that way our prep for Elul is when we can actually for sure be aware of it. And focus on, let me think about and reflect on it. What did I miss? What was I blind on? Maybe even talk to friends to say, hey, I want to understand what I can do to grow to be a better person and develop even further. And then that's real tshuva. Think about it and reflect on it. Because the things that come, my Rebbe Rav Bernstein, he always jokes that the obvious ones, I didn't have kavanah during davening. That's easy to do tshuva for. When was the last time you, just kidding. But, you know what I'm saying? But these ones, the things that you're reflecting on, That's what we need to do tshuva on, because that's what the Yetzer Hara is grabbing you on. The Yetzer Hara is going to give you a few bones, right, to do tshuva on, to make you think like, oh, I really did tshuva this time. What about all the other ones? He's going to chop you on the other ones. That's the piece. Next Mishnah. Okay, this is the end of the Mishnah in Mako 21b. And it's going to get a little technical, complicated. We'll go through it, and then hopefully you'll get the gist of it. With the shkafic lens also. And again, everything that I do in shiur is designed to help you realize that there is more than one way to learn a Gemara. And that when you learn the halacha, when you learn that component, that's for sure emes, and you need that. But there is a depth, there's a beauty, there's something extra there that needs to awaken how you grow as a person. Because it's not just let me learn this to change my life to do these things, it's let me learn this to change my life to be a better person. There isn't a daf of Gemara that doesn't have this element to it. And if you're really looking with hishkafic lenses to things, and you're not obviously shooting the arrow and painting the target, or like there are people who say these things, right? Real mefarshim that comment this way, you'll see that Shas is illuminated in a different light. So let's do it with this Mishnah Makos. Again, this is not the full Mishnah. This is a humongous Mishnah Makos, but it's the tail end of it, and it's 21b. Yesh choresh telem echad v'chayav alav mishum shmon alavim. It's almost like, well, how many can you fit? How many can I make? Yeah, there is a person who can plow, right? And when he does so, he makes this furrow, and in making one furrow, he's chayav for 8 lavim. One act, 8 aveiros are both sides. Okay. Hachoresh b'shur v'chamor. Okay, so what's that? Kilayim, right? He's plowing with an ox and a donkey, which is obviously already kilayim. Vehain mukdashin. Now don't get nervous. This isn't hektish. This is a firstborn donkey, and many mefarshim say that you get both. You get 2 lavim, one for the donkey, one for the ox, because they're both firstborn. Others try to make a different aveir come about for a different lav for one of them, but not the other. You already have 3 now, right? You have choresh b'shor v'chumor vehain mukdashin. And you're not allowed to do any of that. The kilayim b'kerem. And where does he happen to be plowing? Kilayim b'kerem. And it's shmita. Uveshvit.
Now we're up to 4?
5. V'yam tov. 6. 6, right? Because we need to do 8, right? The kohen v'nazir. 7, 8. B'veit hatumo.
Oh gosh.
So let's discuss it. Right? And we're laughing. Like, this is the funniest mission of the universe. Like, because, they should terrify you. This Mishnah should terrify the daylights out of you. And we'll explain why. We'll open it up and explain, but we can appreciate the hilarity of what it looks like seems to be happening. How many aveiros can we amalgamate to make one big aveir out of one? Right? And just halakha component again.
But it's also how quickly that action happens.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. And again, for kilayim and kibi, you might be like, what do you mean kilayim? He's covering it. When you plow, it also involves covering. So you have 2 different types in the vineyard. Not allowed to do that, and you got them together. So you have kilayim by the ox and the donkey. You have 2 by the ox and the donkey when it comes to them being makudash, and you're not allowed to even use them. You have kilayim b'kerem. You have shmita. You have yom tiv. We don't have Shabbos, by the way, because you would get killed for that. You would not get a lav for malchus for that. Yeah. And v'kohen v'nazir, who both are not allowed to be b'veit tuma. Can't be in a place of tuma if you're nazir or a kohen. If 8. So now, let's understand something here, based on what we just said before. This one person did one thing in one place, and he is slapped with 8 different lavim. Was he foolhardy? For sure. But this isn't just a Mishnah that teach you, oh, that's so cute, let's figure out how many we can compile into what. We could do one action in life, and it will have a ripple effect that will send shockwaves in Shemayim negatively. We have, and we see this in videos when it comes to all the things on Tisha B'Av about Lashon Hara and that one WhatsApp that was sent to the. But I'm talking about even subtle things. That comment you made at the Shabbos table that told somebody something that made them feel not so great, and you'll never know about it because that guy had more derech eretz than you can imagine, but it really messed with the psyche of who he was. Then you stop doing something, or whatever it might have been. Your words are powerful. The actions you do matter. And it's not just trying to figure out that there's one situation where, that's made one furrow in there. We make a lot of furrows, Rabosai. We make a lot of furrows in the ground. And a lot of them are not the best. And so, as we approach Elul, we see that the actions that we take and the things that we're supposed to be involved in need to have das. Parshas Akev. We have to walk around with an awareness of every step we take. We have to walk around with an appreciation for the ramifications of what our actions can do. Who am I? Am I a Kohen? Am I a Nazir? Maybe not. Except for Sam over there, right, Cohen? But could it be that maybe I'm not where I'm supposed to be? Am I in a base of tuma, even if it's not quote unquote halakhically a base of tuma? Am I doing things at the wrong time? Right? Am I doing things in an inappropriate fashion? And all of this preparation goes into understanding and appreciating. Now is the time to reflect. Now is the time to reflect. And we have to open it up. We have to see it. And sometimes you'll see it as bedtime with the kids, and they don't want to go to bed. It might be bath time with the kids, and they don't want to take a bath. It might be interactions with your roommate, or how you were with the shadchan for a shidduch date. We have single guys, married guys, kids with people without kids. It's a whole different, array, a cornucopia of people in the room. So whoever it is, whoever you are, whatever you could think of, when was the last time you were in a place you shouldn't have been? Doing something you shouldn't have been doing, right? And we have to reflect. It should be that you want to knock out every possible aveir that you did. If you can. Now don't go nuts. But Elul shouldn't be squandered. It shouldn't be wasted. You should take the opportunity to think, how many people stumbled over me? How many furrows did I make that ultimately had ripple effects throughout time and throughout history? There's a famous story, and then I'll close with that because we'll do the Gemara next week, like I said. It's a famous story about a husband and wife that were at their Shabbos table, or at a table it was their dinner table, and their kids were around. And they weren't so thrilled with the school system. They weren't so happy with the frum school system. And they happened to be saying some negative things. There's a couple of negative things about the school system in front of their kids at the dinner table. And at some point down the line, they didn't realize this, but it went in. It went in. The kid could have been 9, 10, doesn't matter, but it went in. Okay? And one day, Tati, Abba, I don't like school so much. Why not? Oh, and it was the same thing that they said at that meal. You have to be careful with the words you say to your kids, to whoever you are. I don't know if they're off there or not, but I can definitely tell you that they hear you when you hit on anything, when you're anti-anything, when you speak about anything. So Rabbi Stein, Shlomo, some guys are here. From there, say if you have anything negative to say about the school system, you go to like your maksan, like you go to the bomb shelter, so to speak. You close that door, and then you say it to us. You don't do that for your kids, because it has ramifications. It has real deal ramifications for life. And again, you want to talk Lashon Hara, this is it, maybe it was Latuzah. Your actions have ramifications long-lasting that now just impacted that child forever on how they viewed their entire educational system. Who knows how that person's actually doing for real? Yeah? And we'll close with just this last concept. We're now at a time when we're talking about thinking and reflecting, going into, it's only 2 weeks away, I think it's about 2 weeks until Elul. And for the Sfardim in the room like myself, we're going to be doing Silichot, right? And we're going to be doing a lot. But don't spend so much time hearing the shiur and listening to and flooding the airwaves of your brain with all the thoughts that aren't yours. Reflect, contemplate, and get in the vibe and the mindset of tshuva, so that way you can go weiter in life and see what it is that you stumbled in and cause others to stumble in. We should be zocha to see this and grow from it and get back up again with resilience.
Amen. Amen.